this is Studio 7 on YouTube West. Stand by. A 1966 movie starring James Garner called Grand Prix, surrounded with an international cast because it is an international story. And listen to me right now, listen to me. This is the best racing movie of all time. Every other racing movie in the world watches this movie before they go into production, and they try to emulate the way it's filmed. Look at Driven, look at Days of Thunder, even look at Dust to Glory, and you're looking at Grand Prix. I guarantee you, there isn't a single production person on those movies that wasn't forced to watch Grand Prix, or at least they should have, because this is the best movie ever. And this is a major time commitment. And this was a major production commitment. And it isn't just about the cast, which is incredible. James Garner, Eva Marie Saint, Yves Montand, Toshiro Mifune, Brian Bedford, Jessica Walter, Antonio Sabàto, and Françoise Hardy. She's babe, by the way. This movie covers Grand Prix racing at the height of its popularity and at the most incredible time for the performance capability of the automobiles. The F1 Ford Lotus and the British BRM racing cars are the top of the line here. And when they're going through Monza, they're going through that curve at 210 to 214 miles an hour in the movie. The movie is actually filmed during the races, in the pre-race warm-ups and practice sessions. The cars are used, and then the actual drivers of the time, the most famous racing drivers in the world, agreed to get back in their cars and go back out on tracks to do racing images along with racing cars that were outfitted with cameras. And you're going to see some of those production stills here. And what makes this movie even more incredible is the direction by John Frankenheimer. This is an MGM production, Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer. Nothing would be spared to make this movie. And our story follows James Garner, who's a race car driver, who's driving for one team, and then he's kind of pushed aside, and Toshiro Mifune, a Japanese car owner, decides to pick him up and put him back in a car again. And we follow Brian Bedford as he's hurt in an accident, and then later on becomes a challenging driver. And we follow Yves Montand, the aging Italian driver, trying to survive in a world of fast new kids played by Antonio Sabàto and their girlfriends, Françoise Hardy. Okay? There is so much backstory and weave and interest in this movie, but the warning is that it's a commitment. This movie is like 2.5, almost 3 hours long. And if you're not willing to put in the time, break it up into 2 nights, don't watch this movie. But if you wanted to learn everything there was to learn about Grand Prix racing, watch this movie. Because in the movie, it explains in background how they know how to turn, how they know what the distances are, how they know where they're starting in the grid, what tracks they're using, how they're using it, the point system. Everything is explained. Nothing is left out. The character of the driver is as important to you as the shape of the car and the molding of the car. And if you've ever seen Driven with Sylvester Stallone and Burt Reynolds, you'll see exactly how bad of a movie that is. If I was to review Driven, I'd probably give it about 2 stars. And it's unfortunate because there's Burt Reynolds and Sylvester Stallone, and that's 1 star and that's 2. In Grand Prix, it earns everything it possibly could earn because of scenes like this. So the movie itself includes real-life racing footage and cameo appearances by some of the world's best Formula One drivers. Those include Phil Hill, Graham Hill, Juan Michael Figueroa, Jim Clark, Jack Brabham. Other drivers in the movie are Richie Ginther, Joaquin Bonner, Bruce McLaren, that name should sound familiar, and Joe Seifert. I'll try to list some of the people and give you some more information and links on the production of the movie, hopefully down in the comments section of this video when I put it online. But let me tell you, when you're rating a movie like this, it's almost time to pull out that 8th star. But since I haven't done it yet, I'm just going to give it 7 out of 7 stars and be happy with that. Because that's what it's earned. It's earned every bit of praise that I can give any movie. When it came out in Christmas of 1966. And you're going, well, what's wrong with that? Dude, it's Christmas. That's when feel-good movies come out. That's when things come out and you want to just kind of be happy and remember what warmth is and all this other stuff. And you certainly didn't want to get boxed in for, 179 minutes, 1 minute short of 3 hours for something that was a drama, right? And an action movie at the same time, yes, but a drama, you didn't want to get boxed in for that. But, hey, it's cold, it's warm, we're going to make it happen. So the movie comes out with a budget of $9 million, and they're thinking, it's going to do okay. Maybe it'll make its 9 or 10, 12 million back. No, Metro Goldwyn Mayer scored. They scored $21 million off of this movie. They made their money twofold and then some. It's one of the most popular racing movies available next to Days of Thunder in online resources and in video stores up until video stores were gone, which was basically soon, a few years ago. It was produced by John Frankenheimer and Cherokee Productions, so it was produced in the backstory. It wasn't produced by Metro Goldwyn Mayer. At first, they had to convince them to do it. And man, I'm so glad they did, because it's done so well. And the music is done by Maurice Charet. Now you're going, okay, who's that? Okay, Jean-Michel Charet, Maurice Charet. Okay, these two guys are responsible for tons of movies that came out during the 60s, 70s, and 80s. And they're as familiar to us as the names of Howard Hawks and John Huston if you're into cinema music. So you've got these incredible multi-screen shots of the cars. You're up close and personal from the brakes to the driver's faces, how they shift. You're moving through the turns in 3 different angles. You've got sweeping vistas used in one screen, far away, watching them in the distance, watching them in the rain, and then you've got this music that encompasses the whole thing. It surrounds you, brings you in, and it says, oh boy, we're going to have a fun time. The movie is called Grand Prix. It is the greatest racing movie of all time. There will be nothing better. You need to see this movie, but you need to make the commitment. For Studio 7, I'm Bob West on YouTube West. Thank you very much.